It's your boy Moski, back with another video, and today is a news reaction video to, so supposedly a mini-submarine went to the depths of the ocean to go see the sunken Titanic ship. And it's a mini submarine, and I don't know that much about it, so this video is gonna tell me all the information that I need to know what's going on, because I'm just only seeing headlines. I'm like, what the hell? So I decided to do a reaction video to this because it sounds interesting, but at the same time horrific. But yeah, we're gonna get straight to the video so I know what the hell is going on.
All right, here we go.
So the search continues for a mini-sub that disappeared on a trip to view the wreckage of the Titanic. 5 people are on board. The Coast Guard in Boston says the sub lost contact Sunday, about an hour and 45 minutes into its dive. So for more on the missing submersible and rescue efforts, we want to bring in Butch Hendrick. He's joining us now. He's the president and founder of Lifeguard Systems, which conducts dive training for public safety officers. And he's not involved in this specific rescue, though, but has been instructing dive rescues for over 35 years. So we sort of have been loosely calling this a submarine, but it's not a submarine. It's a submersible. It needs sort of, once it's in the water, it can navigate, but it's not sort of independently able to propel itself kind of around, right? I hope I'm saying it properly.
Right.
This seems like an incredible complex rescue because they don't even know, to start things out, they don't know if this submersible is under the water or on top of the water.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because, yes, we know that it entered the water at a given time. We know that it had a basic life support
5
system
people
for
in
96
there.
hours. And we know its project was to go to the bottom at 12,500 feet to be at the Titanic. Approximately 90 minutes after its launch, entering the water, it lost communication. It's very possible that by that period of time, it was already on the bottom, getting ready to view the Titanic, and it could have gotten itself entangled somewhere. It's possible that its communication antenna was dislodged, broken, and they lost communication.
Damn.
And they would still be reasonably possibly with another 40 hours of life support based on the information given.
That's horrifying.
The other scenario,
we barely searched the whole ocean.
CBS Sunday morning,
like 90-something% that it's unexplored because the ocean is just so massive, and it's just too much to discover.
There was an infrastructure issue with the craft itself. And as you know, the pressures at those depths.
Yeah, when you go that far deep, the pressure is just so.
Most military type submarines generally don't dive any deeper than 1,500 feet. We're talking about almost 12,000
all because
feet.
you want to go see the Titanic.
At the bottom of the ocean there, and this might have happened at 9,000 feet, which I think is where they lost communications. At 9,000 feet, I can't imagine the pressure on the submersible there, and so it could have imploded.
It could have imploded. More likely, it could have leaked and flooded.
Oh,
right?
shit!
One of the things to kind of keep in mind, we see vehicles, automobiles that go in the water all the time on the news. A vehicle that goes in the water near shore.
That's what it is inside.
That pressure
barely have room.
The surface pressure is about 5 pounds per square inch, and you cannot open the doors.
And I heard they paid to go there.
You can't open a door.
Yeah, you have to pay me to get in there because I ain't going in.
At 12,000 feet, it's 5,000 psi greater than surface pressure. So the pressure of its own pressure, there's no opening a gate, there's no opening a window, there's no making an interactive lock. What we do look at is if it had a small leak, it's possible that the electrical system has been affected. And if that happened, then it may be, again, that they could still be alive, interior, breathing, and hoping for someone to come and get them.
Damn.
Now, sorry, the other thing that we mentioned is that they still are sort of trying to determine if perhaps it's on the surface.
Terrible situation to be in.
Submersible has several
at that point,
mechanisms to propel itself
you're just waiting,
up to the surface.
either you're going to live or you're going to die because you're just running low on oxygen.
I thought, and the other thing is they can't get out. Even if they're on the surface, they can't get out because it's bolted shut from the outside.
What?
So it's important to find them. But I thought to myself, well, if it's on the surface, can't you just fly over?
So it's bolted from the outside. So even if they wanted to get out and try to make an effort to swim, they can't. They're stuck in there.
The surface area.
Damn.
Of Connecticut or the country of Ireland. Is what I understand.
Whoever decided to like go through with this and like who the people that allowed that for this to even get into the water with people inside are just idiots.
Well, right
with
now,
no
as I
safety
understand it,
things
the
at all.
winds are moving
If something
between
goes wrong, they had
28 and
nothing
30
like for
miles an
backup
hour.
plans.
The sea is anything from
Man, these people are gonna be
2 or
held
3 foot
accountable
high with
if
white
they don't
gas.
get found.
So it could be difficult, but you are looking at the individuals, the Coast Guard, United States, Canada, etc., that are out there. They're trained on how to see this. They're flying fixed wings aircraft. They're able to fly 100 miles square without in no time whatsoever. We are looking at the potential that if it drifted in current, it could be several hundred miles from where it entered the water. But again, looking at a fixed wing aircraft and the highly trained personnel that are in those aircraft searching.
Yeah, dude, the ocean's
they know
too
how to
scary,
look for
man.
this.
I can
They'll
never
be
get in there.
Looking for any, they've also got equipment on deck that'll allow them to suddenly realize there's something on the surface besides the visual.
You don't even know what's in the ocean
Most
of
likely
the time.
it's not at the surface. Most likely it's subsurface, and we'd like to think that they still have 40 hours of life support. So being positive, and I'm sure that that's what our Coast Guards and Canadians are doing, is telling their crew, we still have approximately 35 to 40 hours of life support. This is still a potential
This
rescue.
is like some movie or
Keeping
something,
it
you know?
positive will keep
Like
the
you would never
crew
expect this will
all
happen in real
levels
life.
working hard.
Like a tourist group
Soon
going
as
to
we
go see
to a well,
Titanic,
we're not gonna fight
and now they're the
It's
ones
over.
trapped next to the
The full
Titanic,
potential
or
of the morale
potentially being trapped over there
When morale drops,
next to it. We don't know for sure
we
where they're
lose
at, but
a
still,
whole
it's like this is like a
massive part of
movie.
that rescue.
Doesn't even seem
And you
real.
have to say that the Coast Guard, that's what they train for. They know how to keep their crew positive right up until they realize it's no longer a capability.
Can we talk about, and understanding that we know nothing at all about this, but what kind of, I guess, math and science goes into trying to calculate based on conditions, based on the water, based on the weather,
Yes.
given that this craft does not propel itself, what kind of calculations go into trying to find something that is drifting in water? I mean, human beings from the very beginnings of civilization have been able to navigate the ocean's surface using math and science, and I wonder what kind of math and science goes into trying to figure out things underwater.
First of all, this unit cannot travel like that we think of a boat or a vessel that can move across the surface.
Okay.
But it does have mobility. It has the ability to rotate, rise, and fall in the water column. It has, it has the ability to do minor motions with small motors. It just can't propel itself quickly in the ocean. When we start to look at current, the moment I think of a 1 knot current moves at 100 foot per minute. So if it's caught in a current that's running at 6 to 8 knots, it's moving 600 to 800 foot per minute.
Wow.
Dang.
The Coast Guard knows that. The Coast Guard has already put out their own beacons. What would have helped is if the submersible had releasable transmitters that could have come to the surface, and the moment they realized we were in trouble,
Yeah, like a just in case.
trackers could have said, okay, this unit came to the surface here. Here's what the current and wind have been doing. The Coast Guard would have put their own trackers in, retraced it, and been able to start to follow its travel point. So if it's drifting mid-water in the current, they know how to track speed. They'll do what's called fetch and track. They'll be tracking it based on currents, winds. They'll have a general idea, within 100 square miles of where it should be. And then they will narrow it down from there.
That seems like a basic safety measure. So I'm going to ask you a question that you may not be able to answer, because I understand, like, you don't know. We're all learning about
You're
this
doing
company.
fine.
But, I mean, based on what we're learning so far, would you have gotten into this submersive?
No.
You don't have to answer, but I'm
Yeah, he said the same thing.
No, I would not.
No.
But one of the things
Any
that I
white
do
man
believe
would.
is
Even a person
important
that don't
to
know
understand,
nothing about like submarines or
if
anything.
you had gone on this trip,
You would not go on that.
you would
Especially
not be just
controller.
put into this submersible, and now we're going for a ride. You would have been shown. You would have been shown how to use some of the emergency processing inside the unit. So if there's pieces that it's not one person trying to control everything, you'd have probably spent multiple hours learning how to do little pieces that would make it safer for you. The concept that it does not have releasable tracking buoys, it does not have a backup transmitter that
Had
would
no
allow
safety,
you to emergency.
anything.
No matter what happened, it would be able to put out its own underwater signal that the Coast Guard and our Navy could find. And as you said earlier, our general submarines are not designed to go to this depth.
Yeah, look at that.
There's not another unit sitting 700 miles away that can come out here and go save them.
Skip that.
When we're looking at putting another unit down to search, we're most likely looking at a unmanned rover. So basically, it'll be more likely controlled like a Pac-Man. It'll have cameras. It'll have manipulating arms that could be different tools could be attached. They could have cutting tools, grabbing tools, and so forth. But you can see where she's moving along the surface quietly. Then when she descends, the submersible has the ability to maneuver, turn. You see little fans going there. Those are actual motors. And very often those would be on the front of a large ship to help it dock. So it's very quietly in motion. But the Titanic has so much debris across it that the thought of it being entangled, it's caught on something and can't get itself out, is extremely high. The second thought, as you've already mentioned, is did it have a leak? Is water come into it, destroy the?
If the water came into the
electrical
freaking
system, it can't communicate,
in the little
it can't do what it's
submarine,
supposed
it's
to.
over.
Butch, Hendrik,
They
thank you
would've
so much
drowned.
for your expertise. We appreciate it.
And I thought you'd ask great questions for people who don't know the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Butch.
All right.
So, wow. Ugh, Jesus. I can never imagine myself being in that little, I know it's not called submarine, but we're gonna call it a mini submarine. The little mini submarine that they made, especially how it's not even that big. It's so small. Okay, I'm 6 foot. I would have to, curl up a little bit, and I don't like being in places where I have to be like a little bit squished up. And maybe I think because I'm claustrophobic probably, and I just don't like small places. I like to have a lot of space. So seeing that, I'm like, no. And then I seen that the thing that's controlling, the propellers that he was mentioning, it was a video game, a knockoff video game controller. I said, once I seen that, I'm like, I ain't going in there. That's just like, that killed everything. I can't trust that. A controller? Get that. And I heard supposedly that these are all billionaires, I'm assuming. These are all billionaires, and they paid 200-something thousand just to go there. I'm like, man. I was like, there's some things that, money you can spend on, but that you do not want to spend on to go risk your life to go see something. It's like, yeah, you can say like, yeah, I went to go see Titanic, but the thing is, you don't need to. You can just look at pictures or videos that, that's open to the public. But I guess they wanted to see some extra things that no one has ever seen, but man, it's something that I would never do. I would never do this. And plus, being lost in sea, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but it's the ocean. It's like, that's gonna be really hard to find. And while they're, like they said, the Titanic ship is 12,000 feet below, I believe. So it must be really dark down there. Shouldn't it be, right? I think it is, because it's just pitch black down there, because it's just nothing but just obviously just dead sea. And I don't know that much about the sea and everything, but I'm assuming that it's dark down there, and they're just waiting. Either they're still alive right now and they're surviving with oxygen that they have left, or they already drowned when if something like if the water already breached in the little submarine. So I wish nothing but the best, and hopefully the Coast Guard of the Canada's team and United States team, they find them, because this is a terrible situation, and hopefully that company does never do that again with any other people. Well, if you enjoyed my reaction, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, post notifications, get all my videos up to date. See you in the next video, and peace.